ドジャースとパドレスのディビジョンステージ第2戦はパドレスの一発攻勢で10対2でパドレスの勝利となりました。今日のハイライトは何といってもダルビッシュ選手の7回1失点の好投でしょう。82球を投じ、大谷、ベッツ、フリーマンの MVP トリオに全く仕事をさせない完璧な投球だったと思います。試合途中にレフトを守るプロファーとドジャースファンとの小競り合いがあり、試合が約10分間を中断したものの、集中力を切らさずに本当に素晴らしいピッチングとなりました。現地放送局もこのダルビッシュ投手の投球を大絶賛しておりましたので、今日はその番組を翻訳してお届けいたします。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーに関する現地放送局の様子を翻訳してお届けしております。お見逃しのないよう今のうちにチャンネル登録をお願いいたします。
All right, Joe, it is all even at one game apiece in both of the division series with Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz, Derek Jeter, and Dontrell Willis, Matt Vasgersian. I mean, this was an absolute muscle-flexing feast that the Padres had at the Dodgers' expense tonight. 6 home runs.
Yeah, I mean, I thought early on they were going to score a lot of runs, and that came to be the case here. But the story is Darvish. Darvish went out there. He kept them off balance the entire game, and they played unbelievable defense behind him. We talked about it. All 3 outfielders. Arise made a couple great plays at first base. One of them stopped the Dodgers' momentum, the line drive double play. But, if you're going to pitch, you're going to have to play defense behind, and that was pretty impressive.
I want to hear what D-Train had to say about Darvish keeping Ohtani off of balance that bad. Like, I haven't seen Ohtani look like that on pitches. Like, this is the guy that I can tell you that he stay on off-speed pitches better than anybody I have seen. But he seems like he was having difficulties tonight trying to catch up with a backdoor slider from Darvish, and plus the fastball. Like, he was absolutely off. So I'm wondering, I would like to see the breakdown of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is really the story is Darvish, and like Derek said, defense. But Darvish is so rewarding to see him come so far. All 3 of us faced him and faced him a lot. And the fact is, he had 69 pitches through 6 innings. I remember with the Rangers, that'll be a good 3 innings. So credit to him. He's like a mad scientist. And credit to the Padres staff that has let him be creative, think outside the box, use all 7 pitches. And tonight, D-Train was talking in the green room. He was about 75% soft of some type of version of a cutter, fastball, and, of course, 5 or 6 different breaking balls.
Shohei Ohtani had said leading up to the game that Darvish was his idol growing up in Japan. And D-Train, we're going to go to the train station here. It would seem like the got the best of the pupil in this matchup.
Listen, I thought Darvish was absolutely outstanding. He kept that whole Dodger lineup off balance all day, and the focal point was Shohei Ohtani. And once Shohei Ohtani was off balance, you could tell that Darvish's mound presence and confidence was outstanding. I thought the slider, the depth change on that pitch, it looked a lot like the split finger, as you can see by the breakdown. Live low, live long, keep Shohei Ohtani on the ground, and really keep the supporting cast off the bases. And when he threw that whooper-duper at 73 miles an hour, because of the velocity change, Shohei Ohtani had a difficult time squaring up the baseball and keeping the baseball in the air. So that was the matchup. I thought they did an outstanding job of just game planning and going out there and executing all day long. Also, mechanically, he threw a couple wrenches at the Dodger lineup, being able to vary his times to the plate. So he was absolutely outstanding, and it really gave a jolt to that offense to be able to score the runs. So they're going to be feeling very good going back down to San Diego because of Darvish.
Well, Darvish had a really big start against the Dodgers in the 2022 Division Series when San Diego bounced L.A., and a big start here tonight. In fact, you could make the case that this was among his best, if not his very best, postseason start. And let's keep in mind the fact that he wasn't even with the Padres for much of the season. Came back in September, threw the ball well, and they're going to lean on him from here on out.
There's such a variation from his speeds. Right, his fastball, and he's flipping. What you guys 7? You said 7 pitches.
Yep.
D-Train said he had a whoopie-doo. What do you call it? Whoopie-doo slider. I mean, you have so many different pitches with so many different speeds, and he was flipping breaking balls in there when he was behind in the count. And as a hitter, usually when you get the advantage, you're looking for one pitch in one spot. But he had control over his off-speed pitches, and I tell you what, that's a tough recipe right there.
You hit a good point when you say that those 69 pitches with Texas would have been 3 innings. The difference that I noticed, I face Darvish a lot. And the difference that I know tonight coming from him thinking about back then when I used to face him, it seems like he was more afraid of contact back then. And that's why he was waggling around the plate more likely before. Now, all of a sudden, he's throwing his pitches executable in the strike zone. And that's the difference, pitching 3 innings, 69 pitches, than pitching 6, 7 innings, 69 pitches.
And, Papa, I love what you're saying. And if you're a young kid out there, you're a teenager, you want to be a pitcher, 7 innings and only 2 strikeouts. It's okay. The bottom line is you got to win. It's not you want to go pitch 4 innings with 9 strikeouts and 7 walks. You got to pitch. And tonight, you, Darvish, put on a master class.
You have defense behind you, and the defense for them showed up and proved it today.
Great defensive day for the Padres.
We've been punching on the field all year, you know, and hostile environment. What I got out of it was a bunch of dudes that showed up in front of a big hostile crowd with stuff being thrown at them and said, we're going to talk with our play. We ain't going to back down. We're going to elevate our game. We're going to be together, and we're going to take care of business.
Well, and we've talked about this before coming into this series. You need your best players to be your best players, and the top 3 in the Dodgers order tonight went 0 for 10. Now, Freddie Freeman also left the game because the ankle injury, it flared up on him. And I know Mookie Betts, he should have had a home run. Nomar, you talked about it. The fans need to make that play, if you will, there. But all in all, the top 3 guys in the order just not able to get it done tonight.
I mean, for sure. You know, we see Shohei Ohtani, who's 0 for 4 in this game, and we saw, you know, the swing and miss there when he was facing Yu Darvish, but he even had, Yu Darvish had him off balance, too, and was getting a rollover, weak contact, so he was getting out Mookie Betts. Yeah, the first one were potentially, you know, that could have been a home run. He gets robbed there, but then after that, really couldn't get anything going. Freddie Freeman, he was also in that 4th inning, like we talked about. He lined out. I mean, he crushed the ball out there to right, I mean, to left field, and it ended up being cut, so he had a line drive, but outside of that, you know, that was all. And then you had Kike come in, and Kike came in and he lined out a couple of times. So there was a couple hard outs, but really from the top 3 overall, when you're looking for production, especially from those guys, there wasn't any today overall when you look at the box score, and that played a huge role in this because we know that that's where the Thunder, and then you know you're going to keep the other team on the ropes with those guys.
You mentioned it early, Nomar. I really thought the momentum really shifted. I think we had runners on 1st and 2nd, maybe in 1st and 3rd. Tommy hits an absolute seed, and then Will Smith is double off. There's nothing Will Smith can do because he was off the bag. Rocket, they're out of the inning with a double play. I thought if that's up and it's into the corner right there, it's possibly a tie game at that point, and it's a new ball game. And now we got Yu Darvish a little bit on his heel, and maybe here we go again. But once again, in the postseason, you got to go pitch to pitch, inning to inning. The Padres were excelled at that tonight. But we have to have an answer, Game 3 at their place.
Well, people are still debating whether this is becoming a rivalry between the Dodgers and the Padres. But going back to 2020, Nomar, we know this. When the Dodgers and Padres play, it is intense baseball on the field. There's always chirping between the two sides. We saw that again tonight. The emotions were running hot. There even fans were chirping at players, and it was one of those games where things were really intense.
Oh, well, yeah, there, you know, you're thinking you have it a home run. The fans are fired up. You got Profar just kind of taunting them, going, okay, listen, I just robbed you of a ball. And then also, you know, the one thing is you got a leadoff batter here. It's a close game. The Dodgers are in this game. And then you got, you know, Flaherty hits a batter, like it gets away from him. They think you're trying to hit somebody on purpose. They act like that. Like, come on. That's what's upsetting. It's like you can't act like that really to lead off the inning. He's trying to hit you. That's what he wants to do. Flaherty really wants to put on your number 2 hitter so you can get to your 3 and 4, your big guys with a guy on. Come on. That's why I think would also upset some of the chirping goes on. But at the same time, what we saw in the outfield can't happen. No matter what, you can't have that from fans. You can't have that. You can't be throwing stuff. You can't be doing all that. But, yeah, there's intensity, but that's just uncalled for, and it is not part of this game.
Listen, you want the intensity and you want the hate. That's okay to hate your opponent, because this is the nature of the beast here. This is postseason baseball. There's going to be high energy, high intensity, and it's okay. It's okay to not like each other. So I like that these guys are chirping, going back and forth. But again, we have to answer the bell. The Padres answer the bell tonight, and they continue to pour it on us. We got to be able to be ready for Game 3 in a hostile environment. So listen, keep it on the field not in the stands. The fight is between the players.
And speaking of that fight, Jerry, Dave Roberts has talked about it. We talked about it on the pregame show as well. We're going to see how much fight is in this Dodger team because they're about to walk into a hornet's nest down there in San Diego over these next 2 games. We'll see if they can bounce back.
If you want to be a world champion, you got to go into some hostile environments and win ball games. You got to be able to win on the road. Guys understand that. It wasn't their night. They did not play well. The Padres were awesome tonight. Tip your hat and move on. But I don't care where you're playing, whether it's in San Diego, in Philly, in New York, it doesn't matter. If you want to be a champion, you better buckle up and play great baseball.
There's no doubt. You got to embrace that. You got to actually embrace those moments. That's what you want. You want to be able to go into an environment like that. You want that energy where you're going away. You know you feel the energy at home, but you really want the energy when you go away. You want to feel that, and you want to make it silent. You want to quiet them. You want to go out there and do things to say, okay, to keep it. When you have that many fans and just silence them, that's when you're getting the job done. So you embrace it. It's supposed to stay on the field. Make no mistake. That's how it should, but at the same time, you better be ready and you better be excited to play in that type of environment.
Tell you what, I mean, there's nothing like getting a big hit or a home run at home, wherever you're at, the roar of the crowd. But I think one of the best feelings on the world, and Nomar, you can attest to this, being in a hostile environment and getting a big hit and shutting them up, or hit that home run in Cleveland like you did around in the basements, sit your butt down. So you can use that energy to your advantage. Hopefully the Dodger players do that.
Padres win it by the final of 10-2. Let's go inside right now and hear from the skipper, Dave Roberts, talking to the media.
Dave, first, what's the status on Freddie coming out of the game?
You know what? I don't know. I got word in the middle of the game that his ankle was really bothering him, and he was really, he was down, really down, and just couldn't keep going. So we had no other choice, and he's doing everything he can. I don't know what his status will be like for Game 3, but for tonight, we had no other option.
And then what do you just make of that game and all the emotions between the teams and then obviously with the crowd? Like, how much can that shift the dynamic of this series?
Well, I thought, we knew going into this series there was going to be a lot of emotions, and, they just played a better baseball game than we did tonight.
Skipper, we all know of the friction between these two clubs. How surprised are you that it went to that extent this evening?
As far as the whole thing that transpired on the field, well, shoot, I've seen over 1,000 games here, well over 1,000 games in this ballpark, and I've never seen anything like that. And so obviously there's a lot of emotions and things like that, but that's something that should never happen. And I guess I was pretty naive too as far as the specifics, but I know that security handled the person that was involved as far as, throwing the baseball in the field, and you just never want to see that. And like I said, I've seen so many games at Dodger Stadium, and our fans are as good as any that I've ever seen.
Dave, with Freddie, like, how concerning is it that, obviously for the next month to try and keep him healthy without this thing kind of flaring up every now and then?
It's sort of where we're at. It's not ideal. It is of concern. It's day to day, and there's nothing else we can do about it. So I think that we have a workout tomorrow evening, and then we'll just kind of see where he's at with treatment. And then once we get to Tuesday, we'll see how he feels, and then we'll do the same thing for Game 4. So again, it's not ideal, but I think this is what we're going to have to be dealing with for the duration.
And obviously, you guys kind of bounced back yesterday after getting in that early hole. But how tough is it to keep kind of getting down 3-4 runs early on?
It's it certainly puts a little bit on the offense, and getting behind tonight. I thought that the Mookie ball that was robbed, the Tommy Edman first and second base with one out, double play right there. But that's baseball. I mean, I thought those were two good at-bats, and I thought Freddie took a good at-bat. We were down 3-1 to lead off the third of the fourth inning, and Tatis makes a great play, which could have been a double, which could have potentially cut into the lead. So, but again, those guys made defensive plays, and then they tacked on when they needed to. So now it's a 3-game series. Like I said, they played better, but we got to catch a lead too.
Front left. Dave, you talked about you've seen many games here in this ballpark for sure. How do you just turn the page and move on to game 3?
Oh, it was. I've turned it. I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly. I think for us, saving leverage guys, having Walker go in game 3, I feel great about that. And that's one of those that you just kind of want to wash away and get to the next day.
Doc, you've seen a lot of Yu Darvish. What did you think of him tonight?
You know, like I said, there were some balls that we hit hard and then didn't get anything to show for it. And then he made pitches when he needed to. You can see that he didn't use his fastball much. That's kind of what Yu does. It's a cutter, it's a slider, it's a curveball. It's a lot of front to back and very efficient strike throwing. And, you know, he did a good job getting through the 7th inning.
Front right.
With Mookie, like obviously he had the walks last night and the ball in the first inning today, but just how have you kind of evaluated his overall at-bats so far this series? He's still waiting on a hit.
Well, yeah, couple walks. Obviously the first at-bat could have been a homer. And then for me, I hope he continues to just, you know, stay within himself and not try to do too much. Maybe the last couple of bats where the game was not in hand, there was a little bit of, I wouldn't say indecision, but not as, you know, what he's done, I think. But yeah, it's 2 games, so I'm not worried about it. So I hope Mookie's not.
How big of a swing was that Profar catch, and just what were you able to see from the dugout on that play?
I didn't see anything, to be quite honest with you. I thought it was a homer, and then I didn't know if watching Mookie, I was trying to watch Mookie, and so I didn't know until he came running past me. So yeah, I thought that was a momentum changer, but also, again, I thought we built an inning after that. And then the Tommy Edman ball that was ended up being a double play ball. I thought that was more deflating, but still, no excuse.
What do you have for game 4?
I don't know yet, Barry. I think that's probably going to be all hands on deck at that point in time. And yeah, I don't know. I know Walker's starting game 3. I do know that.
So you think both teams could have a bullpen game in game 4?
I would say probably so. I could see that.
Front right.
What do you think of Jack today, his outing?
I thought he got better as the game went on. You know, you look at the Tatis ball, he had count leverage, and then misfires down middle, gives up a homer, and then again you have 2 outs. You've got Peralta up, and he tries to go back foot slider, and it just doesn't get there, and he gives up a 2-run homer. And then after that, I thought he pitched well. Obviously, you don't want to hit Tatis to lead off an inning. And then the bunt base hit, and then I just felt right there. Banda gave us the best chance to maybe get a ground ball double play or get a punch. And I thought Merrill Jackson took some good at-bats against Jack Flaherty, the preceding 2 at-bats. So I felt it was a good time. But I think overall, I thought he did a good job keeping us in there.
途中リードしている場面でのマチャド選手のベンチ内での円陣が組まれたシーンは、パドレスの本気で勝つが伝わってくる名シーンでしたね。そして38歳になってもなお進化を続けるダルビッシュ投手、すごすぎますね。ストレートも96マイルを叩き出し全く衰えという言葉とは無縁な投球でした。これで息子さんがもう高校生なんて信じられないですね。こんなお父さんかっこよすぎるでしょう。私も息子に威厳を見せられるように、今日は妻の代わりに美味しい鍋料理でも作って、お父さんのご飯美味しいなんて言わせてみたいですね。さて、明日はパドレスとドジャースの一戦は移動日を挟み、水曜日にペトコパークで第3戦が開催されます。1勝1敗で迎える第3戦、先にディビジョンステージ突破に王手をかけるのはどちらになるのか、楽しみで仕方ないですね。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。さようなら。